This is section 1-6, Commutative and Associative Properties, on page 33. The first thing we'll talk about are commutative properties. What a commutative property is the order in which you add or multiply numbers does not change their sum, that's what you do when you add, or their product, what you do when you multiply. So let's look at some examples. So if we have something like 5 plus 6, that is the same thing as 6 plus 5. Because 5 plus 6 equals 11, and 6 plus 5 also equals 11. And this holds true for multiplication as well. 3 times 2 is equal to 2 times 3. So because 3 times 2 equals 6, and 2 times 3 is also 6. This does not work with division and subtraction because 3 minus 2 equals 1. And if we were to reverse those, 2 minus 3, that does not equal 1, that equals -1. So with subtraction, you cannot switch the order. You cannot use a commutative property. The same thing is true for division. If you have 4 divided by 2, that equals 2. But 2 divided by 4 equals 2 over 4, or 1/2. So those are not the same thing. So that only works for addition and subtraction. Now let's talk about the associative property. And the associative property is the way we group 3 or more numbers when adding or multiplying does not change their sum or product. Again, it does not work for subtraction or division. We'll look at an example. So if we have something like open parentheses 2 plus 4 close parentheses plus 6, that is equal to open parentheses 4 plus 6 close parentheses plus 2. So we just changed what's in the parentheses. We're regrouping them a little bit differently because 2 plus 4 is 6 plus 6 equals 12. And in parentheses we have open 4 plus 6 close plus 2. 4 plus 6 inside of our parentheses is 10 plus 2 is again 12. Now let's look at this in terms of multiplication. We have open paren 3 times 5 close parentheses times 4 is the same thing as 3 times open paren 5 times 4 close paren. So let's do the math. Let's see. So inside the parentheses we have 3 times 5, which is 15, times, which equals 60. And we have 3 times open 5 times 4. So we do what's in the parentheses first. So 5 times 4 is 20. 3 times 20 is 60. So you get the same answer. Okay, so let's evaluate a couple using the different properties and naming our properties. This is on page 34, example 2. So if we have 8 times 2 times 3 times 5. The first thing we want to do is group them together to look at the easiest ways to multiply this. So let's rearrange this so we can group it so we have a 10. We have a 2 times a 5 in there, so we'll put those together. So we're just going to play shuffle the cards and reorder this. And what it will look like is open parentheses 8 times 3 close parentheses times open parentheses 2 times 5. And this makes it a little bit easier to do mental math. So now let's do the multiplying through. First things first, 8 times 3, and that is 24, times 2 times 5, which is 10. So now we have 24 times 10, which is simpler to multiply. So the first step we did was the commutative property. And then we regrouped them. So that's the associative. And so then we did the associative property. So now we have 24 times 10, which is 240. So to recap, we reshuffled the cards and put them together in groups and reordered them. So we have 8 times 3 times 2 times 5. And then using the associative property, grouped them together. So we had 8 times 3 and 2 times 5, which allowed us to simply multiply all 4 numbers together. Okay, here's another one. This is example 1a. So we have 35 plus 17 plus 5 plus 3. The first step is to use the commutative property and reorganize this in a way where we can simply add. So we have a 35 and we have a plus 5, and if you put those next to each other, then we come up with a nice round number. But we also have 17 and plus 3. That also gives us a nice round number. So let's first reorganize this. So we have 35 plus 5 plus 17 plus 3. And this is the commutative property. Okay, so we've reorganized them. Now let's group them together. So we have open paren 35 plus 5 close paren plus open paren 17 plus 3. So this is the associative property. We're regrouping them. So then we can easily do the math. So first we have 35 plus 5, which is 40, plus 17 plus 3, which is 20. So now we have 40 plus 20, which is 60. So using the commutative property and the associative property, we were able to simplify this easily using mental math.